remember back during the Voice referendum, there were a number of councils around the country that openly campaigned for the yes side. I'm not aware of any council that openly campaigned for the no side of the Voice referendum, probably because they figured that would be not a great use of taxpayers' or ratepayers' money. But of course, when you've got left-wing social issues to push, well, ratepayers' money is always on the table, and we have discovered some years later that one of the councils that was doing this, the City of Melbourne, of course, our mate Nicholas Rees is the Lord Mayor there now, they spend $140,000 campaigning for the Yes campaign. I mean, imagine what you could do with $140,000. I was going to suggest you could employ someone in the town hall, but perhaps we don't want them to do that. They've probably got enough of them already. But you could instead employ probably 2 people to go out and look after the parks and the playgrounds and whatever in the City of Melbourne.
The bike lanes you could have for 140
I know, exactly. We definitely need more of them in Melbourne. You could spend $140K on helping to rip them out, starting to rip them out, I think. But this is what they are doing with your money, because of course you can't make your mind up on your own. We need the council to take your rates from you so they can tell you how to think. A spokeswoman for the council said that the council spent 140 grand on the campaign, and this is how they justify it, with the majority of funding spent on educational information targeted at those most likely to be uninformed about the referendum process, including non-English speaking communities and older voters. So, in other words, they saw some vulnerable people and they thought they'd take advantage of them and shove it down their throats that they should go and vote yes. I mean, I thought we had the Australian Electoral Commission to inform people that there was a referendum on. If you weren't aware there was a referendum on and how you could vote in one, you probably were living under a rock. You didn't need the City of Melbourne to spend 140K to tell you what it was on, let alone how they wanted you to vote.
Well, and they spent this 140K when they were promoting a $15 million deficit. So they spent money they didn't have, pushing opinions they had no right to push on an issue they weren't elected to address. The Local Government Act governs how councils behave. And I note that, and we talked about it a couple of weeks ago, Blacktown Council, Liz, voted to stop debating foreign policy issues, stop doing things to address things happening overseas. They just decided, let's focus on rates, roads and rubbish. There's a revolutionary idea, which makes you wonder, why doesn't a local government minister move to change the legislation governing councils so they can't do this kind of thing? Councils have no remit to be involving themselves in a federal government referendum, and yet they do these things over and over again. We talk about it ad nauseum. It's a wonder why, and maybe the coalition, if they win the federal election, maybe a local government minister will actually do something to rein these councils in.
No, because they're part of the problem. The state governments push the same nonsense. So they're not going to smack down their local government cohorts. I mean, this is something, this same issue was perpetuated, especially throughout the Labor governments around the country. And it just goes to show, because we all know the results of the Voice campaign now, don't we? Very comprehensive. It doesn't work. So not only are you wasting ratepayers' money trying to brainwash them, trying to indoctrinate them on their own dime, it simply doesn't work. But you're quite right. It should just be taken out of their remit. None of this nonsense from you guys. Thank you very much. This is not what ratepayers pay for. 6 states in the US, which isn't that many when you've got 50 states, but it's better than nothing, they have taken this to the policy level and they make sure that their local governments cannot engage, and not only on the ratepayer level, but taxpayer funds aren't allowed to be implemented in a way that's going to try to sway the public psyche on matters like this, DEI matters and so forth. It's something that the government should do, and any government who was interested in being effective at their actual jobs would do. So it begs the question, why is nothing happening?